Chess strategy is the most important thing ever. And even if you are 2738 and your name is Hans Nieman, you cannot actually oppose and go against chess strategies. Let's see this game against Caruana. He played recently in the US Championship and he was white and he played e4. Caruana replied with e5, knight f3, knight c6, and after bishop c4, which is called the Italian opening or gioco piano, Caruana replied with d6, which is kind of normal move, and Hans Nieman played c3 preparing d4. But here came the surprise in the opening, and Caruana went on to play f5. Why it's a surprise? Because normally black played knight f6, or maybe in this position knight f6, some sort of knight g5 is there. So probably bishop e7 first, very solid chess with knight f6, castling, etc, etc. But here in this position f5 came. And after f5, Hans played d3, which is logical, supporting the pawn. And now Caruana played queen f6, which is a clear intention, as I improved the queen and the knight as well, that I am preparing the long castling. When, this is actually a basic important idea, when your opponent is about or planning to castle long, try to delay your castling short as much as possible so you can generate counterattacks first, or you avoid being attacked. So here in this position, as I see my opponent will long castle, I can start doing something like before. For example, bishop d7, a4. Now, black will be very afraid to go long castling. As you can see, the evaluation bar is just up. Why? Because I already started an attack and still my king is not so clear where to go. You cannot attack me so much in the center because I can castle short side, and you cannot attack me so much on the king side as I can stay in the center. And this is actually a very important strategy, and it happens in many chess openings. For example, the famous Najdorf after knight f3, d6, d4, cd4, knight d4, or many Sicilians like knight f6, knight c3, a6 for example, and bishop e3 ideas. After e5, knight b3, here in these positions or in these positions like bishop e6 for example, queen d2 wanted to castle long, bishop e7, f3, here just to delay g4, one of the main moves is h5. You castle long, I don't castle short. What do? I improved my queen side to the best of my ability, like knight bd7, rook c8, for example, king b1, rook c8, bring more pawns, more pieces to the queen side. Probably queen c7, sometimes knight b6, knight c4. And very later on, you go castle short side. Let's get back to the game. After e4, e5, knight f3, c3, f5, d3, queen f6. Now, Hans played short castling. And after this, the game started to be very tough because f4 and the attack is just started on the king side. After f4, Nieman tries to do something on the queen side, but now, as you are castled, as white is castled and black is not, you cannot do too many things on the queen side. After b4, actually, this was criticized by Caruana, and he said, and it's another basic strategy in chess, whenever your opponent started something on the flank, you need to counterattack in the center. So you need to prepare d4. So here, Caruana is suggesting ideas like knight a3, followed by knight b5, d4. For example, knight g7, Caruana said after knight b5, I had this idea of king d8, and my king is kind of safe here, but d4 is to be coming, and d4 actually has to be played in order to counterattack, to have some counterplay. Though Hans neglect again this strategy and played b4. Caruana continuing improving the pieces, a4, and now g5, continuing the attack on the king side. Computer says it's slightly better for black, but practically it's a huge advantage actually, because black's moves are very easy, while white has to be super precise. Again, in this position, computer says you need to counterattack in the center. Do it as soon as possible. Nieman played b5. knight d8, and finally d4. And now after d4, g4 came. And here I need to tell you about another very important strategy in chess. Your flank attack is successful in two cases. If the center is closed, I mean, for example, here, let's say in this position, rook g8. Now this is actually a very bad move. Why? Because the center now is closed and a flank attack must or has to work. This is clear. But what's not that clear is when you do have a control over the center, so most likely it will be a static one. So, which means you do have a great control over the e5 square. After, say again, rook b8 for example, if you go d takes e5, d takes e5, then this is so-called a static center, so you can attack on the flank. I hope this is clear. Let's continue the game. g4 attacking the knight, knight e1 back, and now h5. Continuing the pawn storm. After h5, knight a3. Here I want to tell you another important strategy in chess. The pawn's attack is 100% going to success. But there is a problem with that. It is a bit slow. Piece attack or pieces attack is faster, but sometimes less effective. Pawn attack is slower, much slower, but it's 100% effective. So if you have time, attack with pawns. It's going to work. So after knight a3, knight e6 came. You have to improve your pieces. And now actually Caruana said a very interesting thing. Caruana here saw after knight e6 that his opponent had this idea, which is b6. And he allowed it and Nieman played it. But what's the reason? Why did he allow that? He could actually play knight g6, and now b6 is a bad move because I can simply take, and when you go knight b5, which is one of the main reasons behind b6, I could go rook h7, supporting the pawn and simply continuing my attack next. But he said, after knight e6, b6, I wanted to control the d5 square. So he played c6. So after controlling the d5 square and the e5 square, center is under control, so he's not afraid about any center counterplay from Hans. Hans moved the bishop back, bishop a2, and Caruana continuing adding more wood to the fire of the attack by knight g5. And now, again, a move criticized by Caruana, knight d3. Caruana said, this knight is doing and has to keep doing defensive job here, defending g2, defending f3. So it's a good piece here, yeah? Improve other pieces. Whatever you do, like for example, knight c4, b takes a7, a5, rook b1, whatever, queen b3, whatever. But this knight has to defend. Knight d3 is played. And after knight d3, simply adding more wood to the fire. Knight g6. Supporting and preparing the attack. Knight c4. Now bishop e6, improving the bishop. Computer says a5 best move, but bishop e6. Caruana is playing it in a way, I don't want to have any negative part of my play. If my attack is not successful, then my pieces are developed. I will not be behind in development. And maybe one day I will castle long. You don't know. So after bishop e6, bishop a3 came, and again a move criticized by Caruana, because this actually bishop a3 allowed f3 idea. With this bishop here, for example, say rook b1, whenever you go f3, you need to calculate this very strong move actually, bishop takes d5, and now white is better. But when Nieman played bishop a3, that's why we said at the beginning, black's play is much easier than white. Practically, white is suffering and black has a huge advantage. After bishop a3, not f3 right away because Caruana was kind of afraid of ideas like knight e3 and maybe knight f5, d5, etc. Very interesting decision, bishop takes c4. And after bishop takes c4, now f3. Okay. After f3, Nieman tried to keep things closed by g3. And now h4. Improving the rook and opening things up against this king. Imagine that this king on e1. The position will be completely different. Now queen c2, a good move is played. The point is, after h takes g3, I will go f takes g3, and my queen is supporting and defending the second rank. So after queen c2, a takes b6 is played, and now Nieman played a bad though practical decision, rook a to e1. Computer says this is a bad move according to d5, very strong move, attacking the bishop and attacking the other bishop. But Caruana did not play this. Why? Because whenever you're winning, and strategically black is winning because he has a great attack against this king, the first thing you have to do is to stop any unnecessary counterplay by your opponent. So after d5, this is unnecessary counterplay. You need to calculate e takes d5, and after bishop takes a3, maybe d takes e5 is super annoying. For example, here in this position, black has to find this idea, which is queen f5. Yes, it's winning, but you need to keep calculating. You're giving some sort of hope for white, and maybe, you never know, you need to calculate knight e5, and sometimes rook takes e5 is a strong move. Why do I need to calculate this? Is it my only idea? No. Play it safe. What a great idea. What a great game by Caruana. Rook d8. And after rook d8, you have nothing to do. Actually, Nieman played d5, but nothing. There is nothing there. Rook d7. I don't only, by playing rook d8, I don't just not letting you having counterplay. No, I adding more pieces to the attack. D takes c6, b takes c6, and now again bishop c1. Nieman realized that this was a bad move, or maybe he just wanted to bring the rook to the game, but rook d to h7. And after rook d to h7, now the h file will be open for sure. Bishop takes g5, queen takes g5, last try, which is queen b3, attacking on b6, but the queen is attacking alone, while every single piece on the king side is attacking there. After h takes g3, queen takes b6 is played, and now simply queen h4, threatening mate, and computer says it's mate in 6. Queen b8 check, king e7, and here in this position, Nieman just resigned the game. Why? Because there's one more probably single check, which is queen c7, but after king f6, okay, there's another one. After bishop e7, you have nothing to do. Actually, computer says this is the best move, you can imagine. Because you cannot stop queen takes h2 by any means. This is actually a very important strategical lesson. I hope you got it. So the most important concept out of this game, whenever your opponent is about or preparing to castle long side, never or try to delay as much as possible the castling short, because you will receive a huge attack. I hope you got this idea. Don't forget, subscribe, like, and see you in another one.